If your company is considering a transaction, as a first step, I would recommend determining whether the transaction may be HSR reportable. And that's particularly important now, even if the transaction isn't likely to affect competition at all, because the FTC has proposed some changes that update and expand the current filing regime and really would dramatically increase the scope and the burden of filings. So it's helpful to take a look at what those requirements would be and get a sense of the information called for in advance. It's really extensive, and develop a plan for gathering it. It's also really important to think about the timeline for filing, because under the current regime, it's common to prepare a filing within, say, 5 or 10 business days of signing. But with the additional information being called for, that timeline almost certainly has to be expanded.
When your company takes a position on a certain issue in the initial merger filing, for example, whether certain products compete with each other, that can play a really important role in terms of the position the company may need to take later on in the process. For instance, on the question of whether certain products are or are not part of the relevant antitrust market. So having a comprehensive antitrust strategy from the get-go is really important to make sure that your merger filings are not only complete and accurate, but also align with the merger advocacy strategy that you will be taking in front of the agency or even in litigation.
If you think that your proposed transaction will be reviewed by the FTC or the DOJ, it's important to develop a compelling strategic narrative that highlights the pro-competitive benefits of the transaction and its impact on consumers, on employees, and on competition more generally. Emphasize the synergies and the efficiencies that you believe will result from the proposed transaction, and consult with antitrust counsel on that narrative. And then weave that narrative into the documents that are created to analyze the transaction and that go to senior management and to the board, and into the public documents that the companies plan to issue once the deal becomes public.